Hello there, hippies, humans, earthlings, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and whoever you're lucky enough to be doing it to. Today we're going to be having a look at the T110E4, a wonderful tank, one of my favourite new tanks. I've discovered a heap of tanks lately that I've really enjoyed, which is good because I just came off a round of reviews which have smashed the win rate up, or at least stalled it, and I haven't enjoyed terribly much. This is a fantastic tank. Don't let the hubbub and the rumour fool you. It is a great tank. It's got its shortcomings, but it's got some very, very big positives. This is a Patreon-sponsored post. As always, the big reviews are. If you haven't checked out Patreon, the link will be here on the thing. I won't carry on about it too much, but it's a very, very, very good way of sponsoring the channel and helping me out personally. On we go. The most comparable tank for this is not the T110E3. In fact, when I stopped grinding up the line of the T30 because I'd heard so many horror stories about the T110E4 and I'd penned it so easily before myself when I was in other tanks, I thought that it was a poor man's T110E3. It is not. It is in fact a rich man's E100. Do not let this tank fool you. It is not a tank destroyer, despite the line that they've put it in. It is every inch a massive, big, heavy tank, big dog. And the most comparable tank is the E100. Its weaknesses are nearly exactly the same. Lower glosis is weak, like most tanks. The cheeks of the turret are weak, like most tanks. But the E100, where it struggles, is with horrible penetration values. Well, this is a turreted tank with 295mm of penetration on its standard AP rounds. It's got 375 average penetration on its APCR rounds. That is something ridiculous. It's got the same kind of alpha as the E100. It's got more mobility than the E100 because it's not 130 tons. It's got better stats in terms of ground resistance. And even though it has 2 degrees less traverse in its tracks, 18 versus 20, you'll notice when you're maneuvering around the place that you can easily keep pace and maneuver with E100s. Plus, you go 5 kilometers an hour faster and you get there quicker. You've got the same kind of alpha, but good lord, you've got a much more reliable gun mantlet. Now, it's a surprise to me that I like this tank as much as I did, but I absolutely adored it. I won't muck around too much here in the garage, but I'll just run you through a few of those stats again. Your aim time, 2.9 seconds, just like the E100, a big aim time. Your dispersion, 0.37 seconds, 0.37, and your pen numbers, 295 on your standard AP, 375 on your APCR. You can see there that's from a tier 10 IS4. You can be penned either side of the turret. So it's not the kind of turret like a T34 or a T30 where you leave it up there and everyone gets to shoot it. That's with heat. So you basically want to angle, try and catch shots on your tracks and not expose the turret for too long. But there's a secret, boys and girls. If you're facing lower tier tanks, this is the kind of tank that can bully them and you can go hull down. Now, you're going to be running vents, you're going to be running gun rammer, and you're going to be running gun lane drive. If you're not, it's your own bloody fault and you're bad. I'm just joking, but I can't see any reason to run any other combination than those 3 things. And there's a few basically amazing things that this tank does as a turreted tank that you don't normally get. Namely HE. It's got high caliber, high explosive, and it's got much better penetration values on its high explosive than your standard tanks because it's a TD. That means when you see tanks like the Leopard 1, you can pump out over 1,000 damage in one shot. Likewise, and you're going to see in this same game, there's a Type 61 here as well. We do about 2k damage with 2 shots using cheap as HE rounds. And you'll see him pop in a moment. You're also going to notice that with a gun this big, with this good a penetration value on it, being on a turret means that you can manufacture shots so much easier than you could with a non-turreted TD. Now the E3 is a completely different animal. It is a bully. It's a juggernaut. It rolls forward and fractures the cosmos with massive armor and just poking that 640 alpha in the face. It intimidates. The E4 can intimidate, but not same tier heavies. What you're going to find though is that it's so much easier to bring that 640 alpha to bear than it is in the T110E3, just because like this, you're in a turreted TD, you can move forward, pump a HE round in for about 900 and roll on back. you never have to worry about exposing yourselves sideways to other tanks. You can very comfortably move forward and back. And I'll show you another example of why this turreted TD is such a special animal. Aegon and I here on Lost Temple, I've been saving the hit points. I've done plenty of damage, but he and I are basically trying to carry the end of the team here. They've got 3 tier 10s left. Now, I'm going to go hull down just behind this little bit of love here. And you can see the E100 puts its shot in there. Now, because I'm in a turreted TD, I'm perfectly capable of leaving Aegon to go with the Object 268. I'm going to pop up here, start reversing my tracks already while the turret's turning, and then start swinging down here to deal with this E100. And because I'm in a turreted TD, it allows me so much more mobility and it allows me to get shots on so much quicker than I would in an E3. And I'm not bagging the E3 because I adore the E3. It's a great tank to rage play, especially. I mean, look at this, and then we're going to roll forward again and just side onto him. We'll take the shot, let Egg finish him up. It's because you can get this gun to bear so much easier, and you're going to see situations the whole way through where I put the gun on target in situations where I would not be able to do it with a T110E4. Now, the knock on this tank was that the turret doesn't particularly do much, and that's true to a degree. Same tier heavies and tank destroyers and such can pen through your cheeks, but it's not a guaranteed pen. It's one of those trollish kind of turrets where if you turn it one way or the other, you can certainly up your armor profile, and doing so make bounces happen. Lots like a tortoise or a M46 pattern works, where it's none of it's guaranteed pens. It's all just good probability pens. So you'll get a lot of those, you know, nearly, maybe, yep, you bounced them. Situations like this too, where you can put the turret over the edge of your tracks, side scrape off a rock so no one on the other side can hit the front of my tank here, and yet I can still put shots in effectively down into that cap area. If I was in an E3, I'd have to expose my right side to get these shots off. Now, this IS-7 is one of the luckiest humans alive. It takes ages to kill him because, one, that shot just hit a house when it shouldn't have, and another, he bounces one right off the front glazes. IS-7s are bouncy tanks. And your alpha is fantastic. We hit this E50, but you don't see it because he drops off you. Now, another good thing is you can be rotating your turret without blowing your camo. In an E3, if you start rotating the tracks, or any turreted TD, you start rotating the tracks, you blow your camo. Now, I don't want to make it sound like I'm denigrating non-turreted tank destroyers, because I'm not. It just so happens, though, I don't really feel like this is a tank destroyer. It's got a tank destroyer's gun. I'll warrant you that. But and it definitely has a tank destroyer's penetration, which is hilariously beautiful. I mean, when you walk up and you can pen the cheeks of an E100 with AP rounds, I didn't realize that at first. I kept switching to APCR to pen the cheeks of an E100, and I realized at one point, and I think it's in the next game, you just don't need to. It's got so much juice that you can go straight through big targets without using premium ammunition, and that's a massive plus for a turreted tank. It also allows you to get shots on target so easily that it minimizes the armor deficiencies. And what I mean by that is you don't have to expose yourself like you would in a non-turreted TD to get shots, where you have to kind of manufacture shots from really difficult situations by both side scraping and waiting till they shoot all the time. And you can kind of roll up over slight rises, and your gun mantlet is very reliable. Your weak spot, though, is going to be the top of your turret. So when you're dealing with situations where you're really up close and personal with the enemy, like the hill here on Winter Malinovka, or the close conflict zone at the top of Black Gold, you've got to be very, very, very careful, because much like the E3, your turret is the weak point, and in fact, it's a little bit weaker armor-wise on the top of the turret than the E3 is. So you've really got to be careful with that. Otherwise, you can end up whittling all your hit points away. You will end up trading hit points. Like, you'll roll forward, you'll hit, and then you can't get away quick enough because the slope's not steep enough, and they'll put one straight into your machine gunner's hatch. up there. You do have that lovely HE though, so you just pump HE and you can see 201 damage HE shell there. Absolutely no problems whatsoever. HE is a great tool to use when you've got big 155mm guns like this, because it will do enormous splash damage come hell or high water. There's actually a bit of a funny moment coming up here. I don't know where that goes. Ghost shell, just an absolute ghost shell. But there is a bit of a funny moment coming up here. I hate the FV 215B 183. I'm very, very prejudiced against it. And one of the reasons I don't like it is the gun depression is pants. It's absolutely atrocious. And that's because you've got a big long nose in front of you and it doesn't really work. So I think that I'm safely under the gun here and take the time out of my life to be a complete smartass. And because I'm feeling pretty confident. He can't hit me there, you can see, but he's not bad. He manages to manufacture the shot by turning his tank side on. And while I'm typing to him, how's that gun depression? He then pumps me for 900. Yep. Apparently the gun depression is good, and I am in fact an idiot. Well done to you, my friend Style Dodo. You certainly showed me for being an arsehat. Now I switch up here to HE because there's a Panther 2 left, and I use a lot of HE in big caliber guns like the E3s or the E4s or the 268. Anything. Some of these 155mm guns are just a joy to play with. A lot of fun. And that's one of the reasons why I do love the Conqueror and the gun on the 215B, the heavy tanks, because they get HESH, which is that 120mm penetration on the HE. But you can see they're doing a big bit of derp and alpha. Aegon played very well there, held the line while I just poked around at town. And the reason that it's not so much the big damage on that game, although we did do over 5k, and I did massive damage in runs in this tank. It's just unbelievable. You know, it certainly puts out damage. It's more that you were able in that map to see how it could put shots on targets that non-turreted tank destroyers just can't. And especially on maps where there's choke points and you can be taking fire from both sides, that turret is an absolute godsend. Now, it's not strong like the E3. It looks like the E3, but it just simply doesn't have the E3's turret. Here I am with Path, by the way. He is a very, very nice player. You've seen him in a few videos, particularly that, if you haven't watched it, that T62A M48 pattern run we had where my ammo rack a full health IS-3 with about 15 hit points left to win the game. This is the game where I realised that you can pen cheeks of an E100 at times with pure AP, which is a joy. Also, just quietly, Tier X has been a nightmare lately. Carrying at Tier X has become an art form. It's incredibly difficult to play, and I don't know why it's happened, but Tier X has become particularly tough to make any headway in. You're either getting 7-0 wins or 7-0 losses generally, and it's hard to find really good quality Tier X play, but I was lucky with this E4. So here we go. We're up a tank. The E100's rolling down. We're hull down, which is a beautiful place to be. The E100 is looking for shots up behind me. He can't quite. There's a Ferdinand behind me, and he can see the Ferd, but he's trying to get shots on me as well, and we both derp out shots there. Very average. I've dropped adrenaline. Your gun depression is 6 degrees, which isn't huge. It's the same as the Object 140. So don't expect to be ridge fighting deluxe. Plus, you really don't want to be a tank that, like a T34 or a T32 or a T30, where you're a heavy tank that just basically sits on a ridge and bounces shots. This poor old E100 doesn't know what to do now. He's had a pretty derpy moment himself. We've taken all his hit points. The Yag on our team is depressing. He sits up the back and he just doesn't do anything. Path is blowing up because Path had spotted a mouse for him and the Yag just sat there and didn't do much. He does actually end up killing this T54 that is giving us stress, but that's another story. So we're sitting here. It's now 3-on-5. That mouse is low hit points. The IS-7 is our big worry, and the 54 is coming to flank. But as he moves forward, he obviously spots that Yag Panzer E100, which is a big reason to turn around, and he gives the Yag his ass, which is the shot that the Yag does actually hit for us. which is very, very handy. Still no idea why he wasn't blowing the mouse up though, but there you go. The IS-7 is obviously a worry. The mouse though is very low hit points. T-34 is, we can safely take him out, I feel. So it's the IS-7 is a big stress here. Missing a shot in that 44. Just wondering where the hell that IS-7's gone. The Yag does smack that bloke. Nicely done. And it's just the two of us left now versus 3 tanks. Where is the IS-7? And you can see how this thing can really easily rack up the numbers. With the pen, you don't have to worry too much. Even when you're out of APCR, you're still going to be able to pen just about any tank in the game at will, as long as you aim for weak spots. So we're going to go hunt the IS-7 down because we've been conserving our hit points and we're very comfortable just getting a few shots in on him. You can see that easy pen that they get through the hatch. Yag hasn't moved, by the way. Just has not moved. The entire game, parked his ass on the zone line, is not moving come hell or high water. That's the side of an IS-7 with AP. We've got absolutely no qualms spanking him. Switching up to HE, obviously you've got that 155mm. He's trying to get that hatch shot again. We're using the old E100 to help us out there. Just pushing and shoving, waiting for a shot. I'm asking for help, but I'm going to have to blow my own hit points. He bounces it. We get that lovely HE pop. So the mouse has finally been spotted because the mouse has all the camouflage of a moving container ship. And this is a lovely shot to the side of a mouse, straight through there. Plenty of armor, but not enough, my friend. And now just the T-34. Now there is a full health Jagdpanzer up there. Tier 10 tank destroyer. And he's not doing anything. There's a T-34, a tier 8 premium, who flat out can do 1600 DPM. Yeah, he's not going. I'm going to have to drive up there and do everything. I don't know what this guy's doing, but anyway. I can't believe it. We've pumped him good and proper. He just won't do the business. 411. Switch to HE. We're going to go for it right on the back of the engine deck. That's the end of it. We take all these hit points. It's a real damage machine. If you play it properly, it is not a frontline tank. Don't go bouncing forward like an E3 trying to intimidate the world. It's not there. So there we go, 5525. The Jagdpanzer did 2,144 in the end. I don't know, he could have been on the phone. I've done that before. Now, this is an interesting one. This is the last game in the review. We're shortening things up these days, and there are 5 tank destroyers on the other team. Plenty of firepower over there. So what we're going to do, which is a lovely thing, we've got a slightly sloped rock here. We're just going to use that to angle off ever so gently and move backwards and forwards. There's the old T62A. Now, a couple of lovely shots here. You can see that one. That's not going to be the best one. You wait till you see this. Ah, dearie me. And when you see it, if you're driving this tank or a big caliber TD tank, you'll start doing it a lot. I feel like I'm letting out a dirty little secret here. Here we go. Just keep watching. So, we're wondering where they all are. We've got good cover here. We've got Aegon on our right, which is wonderful. And we've decided that we're just going to stay at the back. I've called for help. We're going to pump. This object is coming through. He's going to get one from me and then another one from Aid quickly. And he's completely rethinking his life choices. We've dropped adrenaline. I think I'm going to check to see if I can do some HE. No, I'll just take AP into the front of him and side scrape ever so gently off this little bit of rock. Still gets me, but that's the end of the day for the Jagdpanther 2. The Object 268 has been pushed right on back, and we are pumping everything. Everything we shoot is gold here. Watch this. This is wonderful. Straight into a fence. I don't know where that went. Just an odd one. So there's a T-34 up there. He wants to hull down because that's what T-34 is like doing. There's an object on the left. I'm going to side scrape back using the turret. This is a joy of a turreted TD. Pump the object and then give the T-34 the surprise of his life. And this is something you may want to do if you see a T-34 or someone who thinks they're impervious. We ricocheted off his upper glacis with 295 millimeters of penetration. RNGesus take the wheel. That is ridiculous. He's hull down. Can't be got. What are we going to do? You can hit the T-34's pimple and get a full pen. 992 damage. I feel dirty telling people that. That's been one of my favourite little things to do with big caliber HE shells. I mean, it's since seeing this, I've started doing it an awful lot, and it's doable. It's not a guaranteed pen, but you're usually going to hit and do 400 damage, and if you get it right in the pimple, boom. T-30s, T-34s, all those kinds of tanks, they hate it. And now we've got a T-95 to look after over there. There is still an object floating around somewhere, I think it is, and a Ferdinand. Object coming over here. Again, this is the value of... Look at him. He's broken the wall. Not a good move. We're going to slide forward, and we don't know where the 95 is. We're taking the hit from the object. Should beat him on this reload. He's got the BL-10, so he's going to back off. And the whole time we've got that rock right there, so we can make sure we drop from camo. Just hold here, still able to turn without exposing that upper glacis. Give the third something to worry about without exposing the side to that T-95. It's just lovely. And we're keeping our rock at our back, so that 95 has absolutely nothing to go on. That's just map awareness, guys. You should be doing that. Most of you are anyway. The third's turned, which is not a good move, and the 34's pumped him. Good work. Here's the object. Waited for him. Took a while, but we finally got our shot. Just the 95 to deal with now. Aig's been holding him lovely. Aig's had a really good stopping, holding game here. He's kept my right flank clean, just giving me all the time in the world to take all the shots I need. And he's kept that T-95 absolutely stuck. Can't move. Him and the Tiger 2 just doing the business. 4 on the 1. My tank's stuffed, says Fallout. Fall of shot, which is right. His tank was stuffed. We're driving forward. We're still going to get a shot on the 95 as we drive forward because we do have a turret and we're not going to stop. So... lovely jubbly, we keep rolling. This is the T110E4, boys and girls. If you use it right, if you're patient with it, it will reward you by an order of magnitude. It's got so much pen, its turret makes it easy to put shots on. I just can't say enough good things about this tank, and I think Aig's actually giving me the 5th kill here. I know he's not. I'll take it anyway. So there we go. That's the last game. We get the Gold Mastery badge for that one. Obviously, we did a cubic arse load of damage. I think just under 6k. 5 kills, 5,931. Still lost money on the deal. As you can see there, we've just put the Conqueror vid out. We've moved to a few of shorter duration videos, which we'll be pumping out as we move forward, as well as a Mastery series, which I'm going to include. I've got an interesting KV4 Mastery game and an Indian Mastery game to pump out there as well. And they'll be small shots, much like the Heaven's Gate or the Hull Down Sun videos I released last week. If you do want to sponsor the channel, Patreon is the way to go. You can see the link there. If you've got any thoughts, ideas, concepts you want to chuck in the comments, please do. It's always great to have a discussion here. You people have been absolutely bloody wonderful. We're going from strength to strength, and I can't wait to see what the next 12 months brings. It's to see the channel after, this long, be it 7,000 plus subscribers. I never thought we'd get here, and I feel like it can only go higher and higher. So onwards and upwards. There's going to be some interesting stuff dropping at the end of the month from Wargaming. I can't say much more than that, but you'll love it when you know about it. I'm Bushka on Blitz. You, the humans, the comrades, the fists of Stalin, have as always been bloody lovely. I can't wait to see you on the battlefield, and you make sure you stay safe. It's a jungle.